Today, let's look at some shipping pet peeve Tumblr posts. Let me know your own thoughts, and maybe I'll share some of my own reactions to them. Have you ever read something good, only for it to be completely spoiled when one of the characters uses a completely made-up nickname that sounds ridiculous and is completely out of place and character? You may be entitled to financial compensation. I can't think of a time when I've been reading something and felt that disconnect between the pet name and the character saying it. If I have, I probably just blocked it out of my mind to spare myself the agony. But I will say it is really hard sometimes to think of a nickname that they would use. So I understand why maybe things don't come across quite right. When in doubt, though, just skip the nickname. Then you know there won't be any problems. A little shipping pet peeve of mine is when there's a canon ship that only shows one side of things. With what fandoms I've entered, I've usually only seen this with straight ships, and usually it's only the guy's attraction to the girl, with very little, if any, signs of her reciprocating, and then suddenly they're happily together in the end. And I'm not entirely hating on those types of ships. There are moments I see the potential, the appeal, but I can't bring myself to get behind a ship where it shows all of one character's attraction and almost none of the others, as if it doesn't matter how the other person feels. Me when I don't like the popular ship the fandom treats like it's canon. Me when I do like the popular ship the fandom treats like it's canon. At least I'm self-aware about my hypocrisy. Literally, dumb fandom stuff does not matter ever, especially when you're an adult. And yet, I find myself getting peeved about seeing random shipping discourse when I'm just trying to look at fan art. My biggest pet peeve is when people act like the solution to two competing ships is to make an OT3. Like, that's just a different ship. That's a whole different dynamic. Also, like, what if you just absolutely cannot see one of those characters being in a polyamorous relationship? My biggest pet peeve is when I make a silly little ship post using a canon interaction, and there's always one person who has to come in and spoil the fun with, actually, this is character doing this for insert plot reason. Or my favorite is, actually, I saw this as brotherly. Okay, great. I don't care. This is clearly a ship post. Go somewhere else. I think you are rude. Hot take, but you don't need to state your opinion on a ship when interacting with content you like. When you compliment someone's art, you don't need to say, cute art, but I ship X, or I ship X, but this art is so cute. You can just say you like the drawing. Not everyone wants to hear about your opinions on which fictional characters you think should make out, especially if you're commenting on fan art of a rare pair or non-canon ship to say you prefer a canon or more popular ship. I do feel like sometimes people just feel like they have to defend their opinions really hard and they have to really pick a side and stick with it. They don't want people to get it twisted which side they believe, so they always have to be like, I ship this, not this. When, like, who cares? This isn't about you, the audience, it's about the person who made the art and the ship in the art. So don't make yourself the main character. You're just an observer. You can say, oh, cool, and move on. Wanna know the stupidest pet peeve I have with fanfics? I can't freaking stand when they get married. Straight up, I stop reading them if there's some marriage scene between the ship. Or even worse, I hate it when fics end with some epilogue, like 2 months later, they are at their wedding. That stuff makes me recoil. No, I will not psychoanalyze myself to find out why. It's just that weddings are icky. Maybe it's because my own parents kept their names, but I always hate the idea of characters changing their names or hyphenating their names when or if they get married. Let them keep their names. I was actually just randomly thinking the other day about different ships, and I was like, can I picture them, like, with each other's last name, or does that sound weird? I don't know why, because, like, I never think about ships getting married, to be honest. But there were definitely some, probably most of them, and I was like, I cannot imagine this character with the other one's surname. I can see why in certain fanfics people would be like, why'd you have to take their great canon name away and give them this other person's? It just doesn't sound right. New pet peeve. Not changing the older character's canonical habit of calling the younger character kid, even though your fanfic has them in a ship together. Like, I understand that there may be an element of denial because of the age difference, but, like, it doesn't change the discomfort, I feel. Leave the canon age difference and just have them be closer without the blatant age-based nickname. Please, it's uncomfortable. Shipping characters who are just friends in canon is more than okay, but what's annoying is when people take screenshots of them touching and say, "Friends don't do that." I hate to break it to you, but friends do hug and hold hands and cuddle. Saying friends don't do that is reinforcing the idea that physical touch is reserved for lovers. There is nothing platonic about this. Nah, I can write an essay over how platonic that is. That queer ship is bad because they act like siblings. Do you mean friendship? The thing people do when they enjoy each other's company and have a close bond while not being biologically related? You don't want people shipping them because they like each other? I don't really like how people seem to have this attitude that gay equals better somehow. Like, if you take a ship like Rip Nami, for example, it's considered boring, but then people will make it lesbian in order to fix the ship and make it more interesting. It's not better or more interesting just because it's gay. I don't know, this may just be a pet peeve of mine. It's just the way people see a ship they don't like, which happens to be straight, and then they're like, oh, I fixed it because I made Riptide a lesbian and now they're gay and interesting. Absolutely nothing against gay headcanons, by the way. Only this attitude I'm talking about. Headcanon what you please. Straight isn't automatically boring just because it's the norm. Every time someone gender swaps only one character in a gay ship to make them straight, an angel loses its wings. Only exception to this is making them transition, really. Just a pet peeve of mine. Go find actual straight people to ship. There's an abundance. I find this so interesting because I can't imagine any ship I've ever had and I'd be like, oh, this would be better if it was gay. Or vice versa, I guess that's a thing people do. I can see why maybe people would do it because they feel like they can relate to it more. But I guess I just see people as people, and like the way they love someone isn't gonna be changed or to be better or worse because of whatever they are. I don't know. That's just a whole other world for me that I can't imagine being in. Like, I don't know, I ship Batman and Catwoman. I don't think it would be more interesting if Catwoman was a man or Batman was a woman. That just completely changes who their characters are. And then it's not really that ship anymore. It's interesting to think about, you know, there's so many things people do that you just can't relate to at all. Just an outside observer. I hate when I'm reading fics of a non-canon ship in a fandom where the canon ships are the most popular, and then on the author's note they're like, obviously the canon couples are superior, but whatever. Or even worse when it's pre-canon or early canon, and after reading an amazing fic, the author ends it with a note that's like, and then they break up and the canon ships still happen because they are superior. Like, shut the hell up. Don't ruin the experience with your stupid opinion. Ooh, them's fighting words. This is just a good question. Obviously, anyone can happily explore random ideas and stories, whatever they want, whether it's, like, personally interesting to them or not. I mean, I guess it's personally interesting to you automatically on some level if you actually want to write about it. But I can't imagine wanting to write about one ship while so vehemently thinking a different one is better. Then why wouldn't I just go write about that one? That's so crazy. Fandom pet peeve. When people refer to themselves as the CEO of whatever ship or character they particularly enjoy. In general, I have zero patience for people who see fandom as something to win or be in charge of. I think that invariably leads to echo chambers of god-awful fan intakes and stifles creativity and originality, but the CEO thing in particular pops up a lot, and always frustrates me. No one in fandom has more authority over a piece of fandom than anyone else. Enjoy that, or else why are you even here? I'm glad I never see this. This sounds like something that 13-year-olds on Quotev would do. I mean, I think it's fine for people to call themselves whatever they want. They're just having fun in their fandom, you know, if they feel like, oh, I gotta be the #1 fan, but obviously, yeah, it crosses the line if they're trying to control how other people act towards it, and they're like, no, sister, I know better than you. I'm the CEO of this ship, so you better delete that post and change your opinion. That's wild, and that's very childish, but, you know, if I just see someone calling themselves the CEO of something without interfering in other people's lives, then, you know, that's just how they're having fun. Live and let live. Biggest pet peeve is people acting like they're better or smarter than everyone else because they don't care about ships and the things they watch. You are a tar pit. I can't vibe with the pathetic, sopping wet, generic sub-boy man / pristine, feminine, perfect goddess woman dynamic people try to put onto every male-female pairing in existence. Don't you want something more interesting? Characters don't need to have perfect psychologist-approved relationships in fiction, obviously, but it's just so boring. Don't you want something in character? Don't you want something more interesting? Oh, she pegs him, and you write this in a way that implies penetration is about domination and power. Wowee, never seen that one before. I would probably be peeved if I was trying to look at some straight ship and then everything was turning the lady into some dominatrix over him, and I didn't think that made sense for the characters. I can see why that would be annoying, but I'm not having this experience of seeing it constantly, so I feel bad for you if everyone is turning every single MF pairing in existence into that. Every time people draw two characters being affectionate or whatever and add, "do not tag as ship art," I have to fight the urge to do just that. Like, listen, you put it out in the world to be seen and shared, and I enjoyed it, but now I'm not going to share it or even like it, even though it's good, because you're trying to control how people perceive your art, and frankly, screw that. Like, I won't ship tag it because that's rude. But like, if you can't handle seeing a ship tag on art you didn't intend but can be read as shippy, maybe you aren't ready to put your art out there for public consumption on the internet. That feeling when you like a fictional character but don't want to look them up because all content with them revolves around shipping. Oh, I feel that. I follow some fandom tags on Tumblr, and then I go to the tags you follow page, and it's ship thing, ship thing, ship thing, ship thing, ship thing, and I'm like, I'm kind of here for more than that. So, you know, the shipping being such a dominating sector on things like Tumblr can sometimes be frustrating. One of my biggest pet peeves with fandom is that people will see two characters bicker even slightly and go, "Ship? Enemies to lovers? Make them kiss?" And sometimes it's just like, no, I think these people just dislike each other. I mean, that is a good question. Like, how many popular things can you find where the hero and villain haven't ever been shipped? Enemies to lovers will always be created no matter how great the canon animosity is. When someone says objectively, but what they say is subjective, I like to make a point of giving my subjective opinion countering their point, just to be petty. Though I stand by what I say, so I'm not lying just to make a point. It is a big pet peeve. Everyone can agree this ship is so wholesome. One of them assaulted the other twice. Not at all saying you can't ship it or ships have to be wholesome. Obviously not. Some of my favorite ships are incredibly unwholesome. That's not the problem. I'm just not sure if that's the descriptor you want to use. And not everyone can agree. While I acknowledge that age gaps in fiction and the shipping-related closing thereof via aging up are controversial, what annoys me much more is authors erasing age gaps out of some misguided fear of harassment or sense of morality, thus skewering the surrounding characterization of the depicted dynamic. Because, romantic or not, canonical age gaps between characters tend to be there for a reason. They influence characterization, and hand-waving them away all too often throws out the baby with the proverbial bathwater and erases those things that made the dynamic interesting in the first place. And it is everywhere. Friends 5 years apart in age are turned into classmates. Mentors 15 years older aged down to just 3 years instead. Like, I get some adjusting of character ages for plot reasons, but with just how universal this is, the aggregate pisses me off. This is another thing where it's just like, wow, that's a whole corner of fandom and fanfiction that I never really see in my own fandoms. I don't typically see ages being, like, explicitly messed with, but also I don't read, like, a lot of AU stuff, so maybe that just explains everything. It's hard to change ages when you're not changing so much of canon. I can't imagine doing that because I'm such a, like, I gotta look up every single detail on these characters, make sure I'm not accidentally messing something up, because I've done that in the past and I'm not gonna do it again. So the thought of, like, even just tweaking a character's height is, so outside my own personal writing sphere that changing a character's age significantly is wild. Yeah, I feel like I'm not really, like, giving my own pet peeve opinions here. I'm just like, wow, can't relate. If you're shipping two characters of the same gender and dumb one down to fit into a heteronormative gender role, like making one guy smaller, weaker, more feminine in a very noticeable way, just so there's a clear distinction between who is top and who is bottom, you may not be the slay the boots down Houston I'm deceased Yas Queen slay work ally that you think you are. I have no bigger pet peeve than people telling me why me shipping this problematic character with this problem character with problematic behavior is bad because in real life or in the canon, that's why I wrote it in the fanfiction. Don't tell me what's healthy or not in my fanfic. It's going straight down to hell with the rest of my fictional interests. This post was made by someone who wants more problematic fictional characters to fawn over. I'm tired of everyone having to get better. Get worse! Make her worse! Shout out to self-shippers who are insane, who are delusional, who are disconnected from reality, who do have psychosis. So much positivity here says that you aren't insane for self-shipping, and that's true. But some of us are genuinely insane, and that's not a bad thing to be. I mean, yeah, live your life. I've been looking a little bit more this past week or so at just the self-shipping corner of Tumblr, and I don't know, you guys seem like you're having such a good time. I'm jealous. I just want everyone to be happy. So many horrible things going on in the world. Being a delusional self-shipper is very, 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 very low on the list of problems. So just have fun. Enjoy your life and enjoy your fictional other. I wish you two all the best. I think you two are so cute together. Keep on being happy. And I guess I'll end the video there. I don't know if anything I said was interesting or if I'm just rambling like usual. But I thought this was an interesting video. Let me know if you have these pet peeves or you have the opposite of the pet peeves. They're things you love. Just share all your fun fanficky, fandom, shippy thoughts below. But anyway, I gotta get on to thanking my little ruse, my Patreon members. Nebulatic Vexen, Donka42, John Huang, Laser Scorpio, Mintara, Somnophobic Danny, Savage Otters, Valzy, Terabyte AIX, Kestrel, Dragonborn Canid, Angie Ender, Merpsk, Windigo, and Yellow Mochi Cat. Thank you so much for your extra support on Patreon. It means the world to me. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking around. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you're being awesome. Of course you are. You're all awesome. And thank you to my YouTube channel members, my Mini Ruse, Foxstar Killer, Randy Cant, Alyssa North 24, Siggy, Those Midnight Daydreams, Maiko Chiha, and Moonlight. Thank you so much for extra support. I'm so glad to have you be a part of my YouTube channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hopping around in those YouTube comments. You're so lovely. Always great to see you. And once again, I'm just very grateful for your generosity. And thank you to everyone else for watching. I guess this was a long one. If you like long videos, yay. If you don't like long videos, sorry. The hour is late and I should probably go to sleep. I've had too much caffeine today. See you next time, everyone.